I lived in a house, a very old house, a 200-year-old house that had, it was actually uphill. You had to walk uphill through the living room. It was so crooked. And there was this kind of mystical straight line of evergreen trees straight out the back door to the woods behind it. I lived in the house with two women, friends of mine, and this one particular weekend, they were out of town for the weekend, and I was home alone. It was Sunday morning, I was in my bed, I was sleeping in, I'm all cozy in my bed, and I hear, I'm on the second floor, it's a two-story house, my bedroom is on the second floor, right above the front door, with a window that looks out over the driveway. So I'm in my bed, and I hear the front door open and close. And I hear two men's voices. And I feel the house start to shake. And I don't know what's going on. And I scan through my brain, just like my male friends who would come over unannounced on a Sunday morning, and I can't think of anybody, and I stop breathing as I hear these voices downstairs, and I feel the house shake. Then I hear the door open and close again, the voices stop, and the house stops shaking. I try to prop myself up, or I turn to prop myself up on my elbows to look out the window and see who's leaving, and I can't move. I'm in some strange state of paralysis where I can't turn and move my body to look out the window. Then the door opens and closes again. The house starts to shake, and I hear the voices. And I hear them move about the first floor. And I hear them say, "Do you think anyone's home?" "No, no one's home." And I'm in my bedroom trying to make myself as still as I can so that they don't know I'm there. And then they go out, the front door opens and closes again, the house stops shaking. Once again, try to look out the window, and I can't move. And I lie there as still as possible because I don't want to move. I don't know what's going to happen. And then the door opens and closes again, and they come in again, and now the voices are coming up the stairs. And I have my eyes peeled on the door. My door is cracked. The door to my bedroom is cracked, and I have my eyes peeled on the door. I have this idea that if I keep my eyes peeled on the door, I will be able to protect myself. If I can see them, if I see them pass by my door, I will be able to protect myself. And I scan through my room to think about what I have that is of value. And the only thing I can think of, I'm more worried about my valuable things than about me, but I think about my grandmother's diamond ring that is in a little box on my dresser across the room. And so I have this plan that if they come into my room, I'm gonna dive across my bed and across my room and get the diamond ring and swallow it. That's my best thinking in the moment. I'm going to swallow my grandmother's diamond ring because that is that is what's at risk. So my eyes are peeled. My eyes are peeled on this crack in the door, and then they keep drifting over, and there's this mask hanging on the wall right next to the doorway, and my eyes keep drifting, and it's freaking me out. And I'm like, no, on the door, on the door, on the door, and then my eye drifts over. No, on the door, on the door, on the door, and I peel my eyes on the door, and then I hear the toilet flush. They would have had to pass the door to get to the bathroom, and I can't understand how they got there because my eyes were peeled on the door. So how did they get in the bathroom to flush the toilet? And I'm there still frozen. I'm not breathing. I'm not moving. And then I hear the voices go back downstairs. And this whole time the house is shaking. They go back downstairs. The front door opens and closes, and they leave, and the house stops shaking. I stay in my bed for a long time. I don't want to move because I don't know what just happened. Finally, I get up, I go about my day, I look around, nothing is gone, nothing is moved, I have no idea what happened. My housemates come home later that night and I tell them what happened and they say, did you call the police? And I say, no, it didn't occur to me to call the police. So we called the police to report it and the police came over and shook his finger at me. Call 911, that's what we're here for. You should have called 911, you should have called 911. And I was more scared by this police officer than these strange voices in my house. So my housemates say, did you check the basement? And I say, no. And we asked the police to check the basement just in case they left dead bodies down there. So the police go down in the basement. There are no dead bodies. They come upstairs, they leave, and we go on with our lives with this mystery. And we don't hear any reports of anything happening in the neighborhood, and it's just this strange thing. So about a month later, a few weeks later, I go and get my car inspected at a mechanic shop around the block. And I hand him my driver's license, and he looks at my license and he says, 114 Middle Street, that's Camilla's house. And I say, yeah, Camilla's my landlord. He says, Camilla's my aunt. I grew up in that house. I planted that straight row of pine trees in the back. And that hill, is the living room still a hill? I'm like, yeah. And he says, have you met the ghosts yet? And I say, what do you mean? He says, yeah, there are two men. There are two men who died in that house. Two gay men who died in that house. And they only come when you're alone in the house. And when they come, the house shakes.